Hey buddy, it's Steve here. It's Tuesday. Hopefully the camera's not going to get weird on me, but I was just thinking, in regards to people that get in, desperate positions and they really have no place to turn to, and being in a 12-step program for as long as they've been in, when somebody walks in, they're pretty beat up, pretty desperate. As some have said, some say it may be the last house on the block, or kind of put that in that kind of language. And some people, may say, well, all they need is Jesus. They may have already gone through that. That may have happened earlier in their life before they got to where they are. Maybe they're just looking for someone they can connect with, someone that may have had or has, that similar issue in their life, and they're just seeking help. Things have piled up for them, lost family, friends, and some people get it, others don't. There's a very low success rate, like probably with anything. But you start telling your story, and they start telling their story, and you make a connection, and they feel like they're home, like they have people that can relate to what they're going through. Rather than just saying, oh well, you need Jesus. That's the answer to all your questions. Well, I don't think that when somebody comes in, they're really thinking about that at the time, because there's so much pressure and things going on in their lives that may not be what's going through their head at the time. Their head is so how do I put it? Well, they're so confused. That's probably a better word for that, but someone I could think of, at the time. The position they put themselves in, and maybe their kids hating them, and or the damage they did to their children with their over the years of what they've done. So, they find a place where they make a connection, and somebody reaches out their hand and says, hey, I'm so and so, and they feel at home. Telling somebody that, hey, you just need Jesus is like going through Starbucks and saying, I want a whatever, hot chocolate, whatever those stupid drinks are. This is what you need. Like a quick fix. I know in the past, that when people actually met Christ, do you believe that? Which I do. He told them what to do, and he says, just go on and sin no more. But we don't have Christ here today, physically. It takes a long time. Another thing too is that it talks about repentance. So if somebody comes in, and over time they start learning about themselves and the damage that they caused. And I tell people, what's going to happen, and what usually happens is you're going to start seeing a movie, and it's your movie of your life. And that, to me, is part of the repentance thing. There would be times where they just may be home. I mean, and another thing, too, is that if the whole movie was shown at one time, and I've told people this, somebody told me this years ago, that you'd probably wouldn't be able to live through it, because it's too painful. But over time, people start seeing this movie, and it's a movie of them. And to me, that's part of the repentance process. As I start making amends and turning away. Let me check my phone real quick here. Those are weird messages. So over time, these things start happening, and they start changing. The ones that really want it. Some people don't. Some people never change, and I've seen that over years. They just don't change. It's the same old, and there's nothing I can do about it. They have to come to realization of who of what's going on with themselves. But for those that I've seen changes, it's kind of like the light comes on and the flower starts blooming. It's really it's a good thing to watch. Although they're going to go through some pain, they're on the road to getting better. And that door opens up, the light starts shining in and showing them. And before, they came in, people would realize that, they were just takers, they weren't givers. They just took from everybody, whatever way they did that. And they really didn't care for anybody but themselves. So when you start learning words about self-centeredness, self-serving, self, that's the word self, for the biggest thing. It's self. It's all about me. And then they start understanding the we and the giving back and serving rather than being served. They're on the right path. And somebody, behind the scenes is driving their ship. I would like to call them, God. Others, can choose whatever they want to choose, but that's just what I choose. So, and I give everybody that right. He will choose who he wants. It's none of my business. He does what he wants, chooses who he wants, and I just, for me, it's just I just got to be there to lend a hand, say hi, and I'm glad to see you back, and how are things going? How are the kids doing? Things like that. I really try to stress on the children, and the reason being is that sometimes you know what it's like to get hurt when people aren't around, when they're in their own self world, and the effect it has on the little ones. And as they grow older, they start to resent and hate, and all those other things come along. And I've seen it over and over again. So maybe some parents shouldn't have had kids, in my opinion. But it seems to be pretty much the norm, except for maybe a select few. But anyways, these are my opinions, but actual events that I've seen that I can validate. And I've watched some of the kids, the younger kids, over time, just say things like, I just want my daddy, I want my mommy, or things like that, because that's all they want, these little things, that are so, I could use the word innocent, maybe it's sometimes not others, but they just want to know that someone's there and that they are loved, and they're not going to disappear, and people start to realize that all this time that they were into themselves, it could be anything, it doesn't matter what it is, it's just they start learning about the responsibility that they had, that they were part of the birth process. And I told somebody the other day that wouldn't the greatest gift to a parent be the child saying that this is my best friend to his dad or his mom. So I'll stop there. Thanks for letting me share. Bye.